Good morning, Faith family. Looks like some of them got 7 o'clock, right? That's okay. We'll be on a different schedule next week. I kind of like this time. We'll say lead like this all the time. I like a longer day. And I like that. It's kind of depressing when it gets dark early. I don't like that. But anyway, if you have your Bible to read along this morning, let's go to the book of Jude. Jude chapter 1. Right? I told you today there was another chapter. There's only one chapter in there. Jude chapter 1. You're not going to find it. It's not an Old Testament now. It's in the New Testament. Let me help you. Go to Revelation. All the way back to the book. Turn back one page. When you get to Revelation chapter 1, turn back one page and you should be at Jude. I'll give you a minute. That's not the one we preach out of. I still hear some pages. I'll give you just a minute. All right. Let's begin reading in verse 9 of chapter 1, and the only chapter in the book of Jude. We're going to read this one verse, and then we're going to hold on to it for a minute, and we'll come back and give you kind of what God gives you on this verse. Verse 9 of chapter 1 of Jude, it says, Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, The Lord rebuke. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you that we might be able to come before your throne of grace this morning. God, we come hard, we come struggling this morning, but God, I know that you're the lifter of the lowly, and I pray, God, that you would just reach down and begin to minister in a mighty way, that I might be able to rightly divide the word of truth, that your word would go forth and accomplish all that you desire to do. I pray, God, that you might be able to strengthen me, that I might be able to effectively communicate the gospel of Jesus Christ. God, that it might bring honor and glory to the very name of Jesus. We thank you for being allowed to be in your service today. We thank you for the precious Holy Spirit that we feel in this service. And I pray, God, that you would just continue to give us that we stand in need of. Bless each one that's come this way. I pray that you'll touch the hearts of those that are here, and I pray that you'll just let them receive all that they stand in need of this morning, that they might be able to say it was good to come to the house of the Lord. We love you today. We thank you so much. We praise you. We ask all these favors and blessings in Christ's true and holy name. We do pray. And all God's people said, Amen. Amen. We begin to look at this passage of scripture. We're talking this morning about moving on. You know, not 1970s TV show. I think there was a TV series or something moving on back to the 70s about lawmakers and a truck driver or something. Not that. We're talking about moving past situations in our life that sometimes hold us back. Moving into the presence and the promise of God. Moving into the plans that God has for us. And as we begin to look at this passage of scripture, I'm going to come back. Don't think I've given up on Jude. I want to go some other places before I get back to Jude, but kind of hold on to your place. If you would go wrap her there or whatever you need to do to hold that place. But we'll just kind of think about God and some of the characteristics of God for just a moment. And one of the characteristics of God is if you really look at God all through creation, all through the Bible, you'll find out there's one thing that kind of rises above everything about God. It is not just that He loves us, it's not that He cares about us, it's not just those things that are really obvious, but as we look at this, we see that God is a planner. And God, as we look at this, we think about a planner. What does a planner do? A planner is someone that's not kind of like me sometimes, that flies by the seat of my pants. God is someone that is very intentional. He is not impulsive. He don't just kind of make rash decisions. He's very intentional and methodical in what he does. He's very strategical. He's executing the plan for our lives. So many times we might think it's impulsive. But it's not impulsive to God. It's well thought out. It's well versed as God begins to put it together. And what may come as a surprise to us in our life, not a surprise to God. Don't catch Him off guard at all. It don't surprise Him. He didn't look and say, well, I didn't see that coming. That's not the God that we serve. We don't see that. And I think as we begin to look at that, we see in Scripture teaches us in a very familiar passage of Scripture in Jeremiah 29:11. As we look at that, and I just want to read that for you. You're going to know it when I read it. It's very, very familiar to you. You see it. You'll see it on wall art hanging on the wall. You'll see it on coffee mugs, and you'll see it everywhere. But so many times we need to get the real gist of what that scripture is all about. But Jeremiah 29:11 says this. He said, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you." If you're reading that in maybe an ESV Bible or an NIV Bible or some other translation, it may start off reading like this: "I know the plans that I have for you." So as we see this word thoughts can be translated into plans, and it goes on, "Saith the Lord, thoughts are plans of peace and not evil, to give you an expected end." Now, as we begin to look at that, we begin to think about God burdening the heart of this prophet to write this to a nation of people that have been exiled, that have been plucked out of their homeland, that have been plucked from their families, from their jobs, from everything that they have found comfortable in life. God allowed them to be taken into exile. God allowed them to be taken and turned over to a foreign power. And then as we begin to look at this, here they are, they're pressed on every side, their life is unraveling all around them, and they've been taken away from everything that's comfortable in their life. But the interesting thing about it, they feel like they're living in the worst days of their life. And God sends a message that's very specific to their situation. That's the God that we serve. Here's the interesting thing about God. When God begins to speak into our heart, it's specific. It's specific to us. You say, well, we read these scriptures, they're for everybody. They are for everybody at every time, not at every time. Sometimes it's specific for our situation. Sometimes we look and we don't see God just blurt out a generic message so many times. We see it specifically for someone. And in that, it's not a one-size-fits-all message. But I think as you begin to look at this, he goes on and he begins to tell them about this message. He said, listen, he said, I'm going to give you a message of hope, a message of inspiration, a message of elevation. I want to give you some instructions here that's going to help you. And he told Jeremiah, he said, I know that these people are wounded. And I know that they're weak. I know that they're struggling. But he goes on and he tells them, he said, I know the plans that I have for you. I know the thoughts that I have for you. He said, I know you're hurting, but I got a plan. I know you're confused, but I got a plan. I know you're a little upset about what's going on, but I got a plan. I know you may be even a little discouraged, but hey, I got a plan. I've got a plan for you. And I think as we begin to look at this, no matter what we're going through, no matter what we're struggling with, no matter what we're up against, we can look at God and God will He'll look back and say, hey, I know you're hurt, but I got a plan. I know that you don't understand. You're a little bit confused about all this. We get there. In our Christian walk, there's days that we get confused. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how to live life from one day to the next without trusting God. But God says, I've got a plan. And as he begins to reveal his plan, you notice what he didn't say? He didn't say, we know the plans. He didn't say, you know the plans. He didn't say any of that. He said, but I know the plan. You might not know the way, and I might not know the way, and we might together not can figure out the way, but God knows the way. God has a plan. He looks down and he begins to see situations in our life. And he begins to evaluate those situations, and he begins to take it and take a plan and put a plan together. Most of the time he knows before we ever get there. He sees it way before we ever see it. We'll talk about that in a minute. He sits high and he looks low. And that's exactly the God that we serve. So he said, but the interesting thing about this in Jeremiah 29:11, he said, hey, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is. He said, but here's the thing. I will tell you what it does. It's going to prosper you. It's going to bring you some hope. And it's going to bring you a future, an expected end. Now, here's the thing about that. Many times in our life, and that's where we get really confused, and that's where faith and trust comes in. So many times, God may not give us all the specific and the strategic details of His plan. But the good thing about it, He'll give us a promise of His plan. And we have to trust Him and believe Him for those things that we stand in need of. And as He begins to lay out this plan before us, we know that He's got a plan. And that should excite us today, that no matter what our situation is this morning, that God has a plan for our situation. It should bring us hope. It should bring us revival. It should bring us inspiration. You know, you begin to look through the Bible, the Red Sea, God had a plan. You begin to see all of the stories. You begin to see the falling of the walls of Jericho. You begin to see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego thrown into specific group of people for a specific purpose in their life. Daniel in the lion's den. You go on, you can just look at each one of these miracles that God did, and you begin to pick out exactly what God was doing. And you may not can see it. If we didn't know the rest of the story, we wouldn't be able to see what God was doing. If we just read it the first time, it looks like, what in the world is God doing here? But then all of a sudden, as Paul Harvey says, we get the rest of the story. And we begin to see that God was not confused. It looked like God may have lost his mind or his train of thought there for just a little bit and got confused about what he was doing and doing something totally irrational that made no sense, but it made sense to him. And as we begin to see the end of it, we begin to say, hey, God was not confused. God knew what he was doing. We look at the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It was a plan. God had a plan for humanity, for the lost humanity of this world, to be able to come to the saving grace of Jesus Christ and to humble themselves before a throne of grace and receive what Jesus was going to do for them on the cross. You know, the interesting thing about this, Revelation, we've been in Revelation on Wednesday nights for the last several weeks now. Revelation chapter 13, verse 8, I was reading ahead one day last week, and the verse of Scripture stuck out in my mind, and then I forgot about it, and then it stuck back in my mind one day this week, and then this morning God really put it on my mind, and I'm thinking, God, where are you going with this? But Revelation chapter 13 says this, that the Lamb of God was slain before the foundations of the world. Before God created the world, he had a plan to send Jesus to the cross. So what does that mean for me and you? What does that mean in our life? That God had a solution before the devil ever created the problem. Think about that. And as we begin to see this, not only in that plan, but in every plan in our life, God's already got the solution before the enemy can rise against us. He's already got a purpose, he's already got a thought, he's already got a plan of how he's going to deal with it. So as we look at this, we find hope in that, but God's looking from a different vantage point. As I said before, he sits high, he looks low. He is looking down on a situation that he can see way yonder beyond farther than we can see. And not only does he have plans for us, but sometimes if we begin to think about that, we also have plans for us. We also, if we would be really, really honest, there's days and times and seasons in our life that we have plans. Then we begin to work off our own plans. And we begin to do things according to what we want to do. And this is where we have to be careful. This is where we'll get bogged down. This is where we'll get in trouble. This is where we'll get waylaid if we're not careful when our plans don't connect to God's plan. We have to be sure to get up every morning and we have to say, okay, God, now I need to join with you where you're working today. I need to join with you and your thoughts and your plans. Too many times we get up and we pray prayers like this. God, I need you to come work in my plan. I need you to come help me with my plan. Fix this in my life. Do this in my life. Work this together. But here's the thing. If we will join with God in what he's already doing, and we'll see the blessings of God begin to pour into our life because not what we've done, but what God's doing, and we join with him. So as we see this, we think about our plans, and so many times we have expectations of how things are going to end. Everybody's got expectations. You think about it like this. Sometimes we may not have even really put a rational thought together of an expectation of what we was expecting from something or from a situation. We may not have ever uttered it off our lips that we was expecting this, but sometimes all of a sudden when it don't happen, we got this sense of entitlement about us that God, you should have allowed that to happen, or this should have happened in my life. But as we begin to see that so many times when we expect something just subconsciously to happen in a certain way, and it don't happen the way we expect it to, then there's what we call an expectation gap. That's when what we expect to happen don't line up with reality. So many times in our life, we've all experienced that from time to time. There's been days in our life where we go and say, okay, I thought everything was going to work out this way, but it didn't. And there's a gap there. And there's all of a sudden a problem there. And as we begin to have this problem, then we have to figure out how to work around and navigate through this problem. Now, I think as we begin to look at this, we begin to see it God, He's trying to get us to go one way, and we're trying to plan for another way, and that's what we have to say. You always heard that old saying, expect the unexpected. That's what we have to be ready for every single day. We have to be prepared to expect the unexpected for the things that we don't see coming in our life. We have to be ready to adjust to those things and make different decisions according to what happens in our life. So how do we do this? We're going to look at that. We're going to figure out how to do this. And a lot of it's got to do with trusting God. A lot of it's got to do with putting not leaning to our own understanding, but fully and totally trusting in God. So as we look at this, we see that He's got a vantage point. And to this point, when we don't know, and when our expectations don't line up with reality, that's when we have to submit and surrender to the plan of God. And when we do that, we got to understand that it may not be our plan, it may not be the way we would have done it, it might not have even looked like the way we were going, not even close to the way we were going to do it. But we got to understand that God's plan is a better plan. God's ways are better ways. And as we begin to see this, and as we begin to unpack this and look at it, we know sometimes we have to change directions. We don't like to do that. Sometimes we have to move on. Sometimes we have to leave behind. Sometimes we have to just go in a different direction. But these are things that we grow in complacency to, and we get complacent in a situation. You think about the nation of Israel. Here they were complacent where they were at, so God exiled them to somewhere totally different. But the thing about it, here they are, they've come to a place they didn't see it coming. They were totally unexpected to it, but God writes through a weeping prophet, Jeremiah, and He says, listen, He said, I got plans for you. Don't give up, don't lose hope, don't give up, because I got plans. And as we see this, we begin to look back and see how, sometimes moving on. So you say, well, how do we do this? I think we need to understand, in order to understand how to do it, let's kind of look back at Jude 1:9. That's where we're going to start at today. And I want to go back and read that passage of Scripture. Let's dig into it for just a moment. But it says this, really quick. Yet Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuke thee. Now let me just kind of unpack this for just a moment. Let me kind of set the stage here. Let's just look at what's going on. We got a couple characters here in this story. We got Michael the archangel, and we got the devil. And we see that they are engaged in a conflict. They are engaged in a dispute. They are engaged in an argument. And the argument is over this. We read it in verse 9. It said they are in a dispute about the body of Moses. Now, as you begin to think about that, here they are, they're arguing over Moses' dead body. Moses has died, they're arguing over his body. Why? Why is Satan so concerned with where they're going to place the body of Moses? And I think as we begin to look at this kind of brings hope to our lives. As we begin to see that Moses, he was so instrumental in being the voice of reason. He was so instrumental in giving God's word to the people that his words of wisdom, that his words that he had been given to God, that he imparted to the people, would continue to speak to the people even after his death. Now think about that. Wouldn't we love to be like that? That our impact on the world would continue on even after we're dead. Even after we have gone to the grave, that we will continue to impact people. I think you go back and you read the Bible, you'll find out time after time there's this one particular thread and phrase that runs through there, through the Old Testament. And God will bless His people. And I don't have time to get into it, but He will bless His people. And you know what He would say? He said, I'm doing this for whose sake? David's sake. He would say that over and over and over. He said, I think about time and time again, as you would read through the Word, or the Bible, and you would read these words, he said, I want to bless him for David's sake. Now, Solomon, that was one particular time that Solomon got off track. Well, he probably got off track more than one time, but one particular time he got off track, He was heading in the wrong direction, and God said, look, I really should just give up on you and just quit on you. But he said, I'm not. He said, I'm going to continue to bless you. Why? For David's sake. So we see, even after David had died, God was still blessing him, and he was still having an impact on people because of the life that he had lived, because of his walk with God. Moses was the same way. And Satan knew this. Satan, he was concerned with the placement of Moses' body because he spoke words to generations, not just generations while he lived, but generations that would come after him. And even after the grave, his words were still speaking to people. And I think as we begin to look at this, they're disputing this because in Deuteronomy 34, chapter 34, verses 5 and 6, it talks about, God talks about this, and it says this, that they were thinking about where to bury Moses. Now they know they buried him in Moab. But here's the interesting thing about this. Nobody knew where his grave was at. They knew the city. They knew the town. They knew the area. But nobody knew where God had placed him at. Well, that's interesting. Why would God do this? Why would God say, okay, I'm just going to put him, think about this for just a moment. Here Moses, one day he's with them, everything's good, he's speaking to them, and Moses got the word from God, he wasn't going into the promised land. He said, you can look at it from afar, but you're not going in. He said, I'm going to raise up another man, he said, I'm going to raise up Joshua, he's going to be the successor, he's going to be the one to carry you into the promised land, and all of a sudden, one day, Moses just takes a walk about with God. He just leaves, walks out the scene. God came back, but Moses didn't. And all the people of Israel, they looking like, where'd Moses go? What happened to Moses? And then finally, Joshua stands up and says these words. He makes this profound statement there. He says to the nation of Israel, he addresses them and he said, he said, Moses, your servant, is dead. He said, now, therefore, rise up. Let's go over this Jordan. Now, as we begin to see this, everybody's probably murmuring, thinking, oh my goodness, that was a murmuring group now. They were murmuring, complaining, they were, where's Moses? We need Moses. Oh, we murmured and we chided against Moses. We think Moses brought us out of Egypt. Sometimes we think we should have went back to Egypt. I know we fussed with Moses a lot. But we was comfortable with Moses. We was complacent with Moses. We really liked Moses. Even though he didn't do things exactly the way we thought he ought to, we still think we like Moses. I don't know about this new guy. I don't know about his thoughts. I don't know about his idea. I don't know about this new guy. You see, the people here, they were a little bit abrupt to change. Now think about this. You say, well, why would God allow Moses to take a walk about and just kind of walk off the stage? And then God would not tell them where Moses was buried. I think here's the reason. I think so many of them were so emotionally attached to Moses that if they had got to the point where they could have found his grave, they would have built a memorial. These people are notorious for building memorials. Aaron, he came and built the golden calf. They wanted to be like everybody else. They wanted to fit in. They would do what they saw others doing. Here's the interesting thing. I believe God knew that if they knew where Moses was buried, they'd go up there and they would carve them out a monument. They would stack up some rocks and they would have camped right there. They would have come to that place in their life where they would have said, we are so emotionally attached to Moses, we're just going to stay right here. Everything's good, we'll just stay right here. But God had a plan. God had greater plans for the children of Israel. And as we begin to see this, God knew what they would do. God knew that they were so emotionally attached, so he said, hey, I'll just hide the body. I'll just put it where they can't find it. I'll just put it there. He said that way, they won't go and build a memorial, and they will advance into the land of Canaan. Now, I think about, some feel that if they had moved on, then it would have been disrespectful to Moses, and they would have probably just not followed after Joshua. They would have probably just said, well, we're just going to stay right here. So he died unexpectedly, he died quickly, and Israel got no closer. They didn't have time to really go and mourn like they felt like they should have. They didn't have time to really say goodbyes like they felt like they should have. But this was God's plan. And sometimes I think when we have to move from situation to situation, sometimes without closure, sometimes I think that's really tough on us. Sometimes I think it gets to the point in our life if we don't get that closure that we think we need, we'll camp out in those situations. Sometimes, church, we just got to move on without answering. Sometimes we got to move on without apologies. Sometimes we got to move on and just do things that God says do. Even though there's still some not closure there, that there's still some unanswered questions. That there's still some apologies that's never been made. Sometimes we still have to trust God that when God says go, when God says move, then it's time to move. And I think that, God gives closure when we need closure. He knows when we need it, but He don't want to give closure to the point that the enemy will leverage that against us and allow us to get stuck in a situation. So when God's telling us to bury it and move on, we got to bury it and move on. We got to go forward. We got to be obedient to God, and this is exactly what they say. He said, I buried Moses, it's time to move on. Here's your new man. Follow him, trust him. Joshua made that statement. So now if you think about that, I don't know where you're at this morning, but maybe God is calling you from where you're at to where you need to be. Maybe He's calling you to a place in your life. Maybe you've been stuck somewhere. Maybe you've been sitting back waiting on somebody to apologize. Maybe you've been sitting back waiting on somebody to give you all the answers to the questions, to the wrongs that's been done. But I want you to understand there's a time that we got to bury the past and we got to move forward. And that's exactly what God was doing here. He was telling us, look, you got to move forward. You can't just sit here. This is not where I want you to be. This is not the promised land. And you know what the promised land was? The promised land was God's blessings upon His people. This is where He was going to bless them at. And so many times I think in our Christian walk, if we're not careful, we'll get caught up with no closure. And we'll get to a point where we say, well, I'm just going to sit here because I am entitled to some answers. I am entitled to an apology. And we'll sit at a place in our life and we'll miss the blessings of God because we won't bury the past. And as we begin to see this is where they're at. He said, look, you've got to move forward. So if you're waiting on an apology this morning, you're waiting on an explanation, you're waiting on answers, I can assure you this morning, your future is calling you. Your future is calling you to move beyond that. Now, I don't know, you may get that apology, you may get answers somewhere down the road, but you can't sit there and dwell on it and wait forever for it to come, because I promise you'll miss the blessings of God. You'll miss what God wants to do in your life. And I think so many times we're looking for answers that never come, and here's the thing. There's so many times we're looking for these answers that we just don't know. But don't run to what you don't know, church. Run to what you do know. Think about this for just a moment. As we look at Scripture, there's times in our life we have to ask the question, God, why am I going through this? God, why is this happening in my life? God, why is all this stuff just turmoil after turmoil? And why is all these situations happening? And why does it just feel like I can't never get ahead? And why does it feel like I have to go through this when everybody else seems to be doing well and I'm still struggling? Why is that? I don't know. But this is what I do know. I know God takes everything and works it together for good, for our good and His glory. I do know that. And that's what we have to remind ourselves when we say, well, God, I don't know why I'm going through this, but I do know that you're going to take it and you're going to work it together for good, for my good and your glory. We go through situations when we're distraught, we weep, we cry, we just don't understand, God, how long is this going to last? I don't know. And we can really just say, I don't know how long we're going to mourn, how long we're going to struggle, how long we're going to weep. But this is what I do know. I know that weeping may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. So we have to focus, church, on not what we don't know, but what we do know. Why is everybody coming against me? Why is everybody striving with me? Sometimes we ask those questions. God, why is everybody, finding fault? Or why is everybody, bringing conflict into my life? I don't know. And sometimes we don't know. But this is what we do know. No weapon formed against us shall prosper, thus saith the Lord. We have to stand on what we do know. Run to what we do know and bury what we don't know. And as we begin to understand that, it'll bring closure, it'll bring hope to our life, it'll bring victory to our life that we would never ever been able to get the other way. So when we don't know, when we don't worry about what we don't know, but we lean in to what we do know, that's when victory is going to come. So don't get stuck waiting on answers. Now, I think there's some things that will help us to move on as we kind of look at this and talk about Moses for just a moment. Let's kind of reflect on his life in just a minute. He was in their lives for a season. God never intended for him to go in the promised land. He made it very specific to Moses. He was not going to the promised land. He was in their life for a season. And sometimes we have to understand that there are people or there are situations that are in our life for a season. And we don't need to get confused and think that, hey, they're going to be there forever. There's people that pass through our life for a season, for a particular reason in our life. We don't know why. We don't know what their purpose is sometimes, but God puts them there for a season in our life. And as we think about trials and troubles and situations that come in our life, they're there for a season. God said, hey, they're not going to be there forever, but they will be there for a season to grow us, to sanctify us, to complete us, to get us to a point in our life where we can move forward and advance the kingdom of God. Now, as we think about this, so we don't get stuck waiting on those answers, and I think we look at the things that help us to move on. Sometimes we just got to say, hey, God, I'm going to let it go. This is holding me back. We got to recognize that. We got to identify that. And we got to say, hey, I'm just going to let it go. And sometimes we get so emotionally involved in it. They were so emotionally connected to Moses. Because they couldn't, really, they would have never probably left there. They would have just said, hey, Moses was the bomb.com. We're going to stay right here. We're going to build us an altar. We're going to just worship right here. We're just going to stay here. And God says, no. That's not what I intend for you. That's not the plan that I have for you. And I think if we get emotionally involved and emotionally connected to something, and if we want it so bad, and if we look at it and say, I want that so bad, whether it's a job or a relationship or whatever, or a material thing, I want it so bad. And if I want it that bad, then it's got to be God's will, right? No. We can't trust our emotions, church. We've got to trust God. And as we look at that, we make decisions based on our feelings. We make decisions based on our emotions. Well, but God, I know that this situation is what I want. I know it don't line up with your word, God, but I really, really want it so bad. It's got to be your will, right, God? No. If it don't line up with the word of God and the will of God and the purpose of God, then it's not of God. And as we think about this, we begin to think about feelings. We get so caught up, and if we get caught up, it's hard to make good decisions when we all caught up in our feelings. When we got our feelings, I have to do this sometimes. I don't know about y'all. But when I talk to people, if I get angry, I don't need to talk to nobody when I'm angry. You ever just had to walk off? You ever just had to walk away from somebody who don't need to talk to you right now? Because the flesh will rise up in us. And sometimes we let our feelings dictate our actions. Sometimes we get down or we get distraught or we get depressed about something. I really believe that there's a lot of people out there that believe they got to be in a relationship. They got to have somebody. I watch young ladies all the time. They're notorious for this. They'll go, they'll have them a guy, and all of a sudden it don't work out. He cheats on them or he does something crazy, and all of a sudden they'll run and they'll find them another. You know why? Because they get depressed, they get down and out, they say, oh, I got to have somebody. I got to have somebody. I've always preached it. Hey, look here, better not to have one, have the wrong one. You think about our feelings. Our feelings will lead us astray. You can't operate on how you feel. You and myself, we have got to operate not on feelings, but on faith in God. And when we get past our feelings, get past ourselves, get past what we want, get past our thoughts and our ideas and our woe is me mentality sometimes, when we get past that and we look to God and say, okay, God, I'm over myself, I'm over my feelings, I'm over all of this, times we get caught up there. We begin to make decisions based on feelings. We begin to make decisions based on our emotions. We begin to make really bad decisions because we're operating off of feelings and not in faith. And then we have to ask the critical question. We don't like to ask these questions, but sometimes we just got to be real. Sometimes we just got to ask God, say, God, is this you or is this me? God, is this what you want for my life? Or God, is this what I want for my life? We don't like to ask those questions. But in order to get the blessings of God and move forward and be where God wants us to be, we have to ask those questions. God, is this you or is it me? Is it my faith or my feelings? Is it what you want or is it what I want? And as we begin to do that, and we begin to learn to trust God, and we begin to put our faith in Him, you know, sometimes I think about services. And today is one of those services. For some people, this is a worship service. But for others today, I believe this is going to be a funeral. Because I believe somebody's going to bury something today. I believe somebody's been struggling with something, somebody's been holding back, and been running back to a situation that God said bury. And I believe today, before we leave out of here, I believe somebody's going to bury something. This is going to be a funeral service today. You'll weep and you'll grieve, but you'll get past that. You'll move forward. You'll go forward and you'll be able to do what God wants you to do. You won't keep running back to the same thing that trips you up over and over and over again. And you know, in Luke's Gospel, chapter 17, verse 32, Jesus said, remember Lot's wife. You remember that story when he was talking about Lot's wife when they was coming out of Sodom? And you know what she did? She looked back. You know what the Bible says happened to her? She turned into a pillar of salt. Now what does that tell us about our life? If we continue to run back and look back, you know what it'll do? It'll make us salty. It'll make us bitter. It'll make us agitated. It'll make us salty. And that's exactly what God will say. Don't look back. Keep going. Set your eyes on the prize. And if we keep going back, it'll cause bitterness, it'll cause salt to rise up in our life, it'll cause contention, it'll cause the dissension to rise in our life. And you know, I think that as we look at this and we say, okay, God, I've got this plan for my life. And God, I know what's going to make me happy. God, if I just had this and this and this, I would be happy. It would bring satisfaction to my life. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that God knows what it takes to make you happy? You don't have to answer that out loud. Just let that kind of marinate on your heart for just a little bit. Do you believe that God knows what it takes to make you happy? And if you think about that, then why do we keep telling God, God, if I had this, I'd be happy. God, if this situation would materialize in my life, I would be happy. And you wonder why it don't happen. Because God knows what we need to make us happy. And if we'll trust Him, He will bring joy unspeakable and full of glory. You think about that. You just think about God and what He does in our life and how He brings joy. We talked about this a little bit last Sunday in Jeremiah chapter 2. Remember we talked about the system, the broken system? God said, my people, they have done two evils. First of all, they have forsaken Him, the fountain of living water. The second thing they had done, we talked about it last Sunday. The second thing that they had done is they had put their water, they put all of their hope in a cistern that was broken. A cistern that had a hole in it. And here's the thing. When God continues to pour, one of two things is going to happen. When God tries to pour joy into our life, when God begins to do the things that will bring happiness and satisfaction to our life, if we reject Him, that's what they said, reject the living water. If we reject Him, that happiness will never come. But we'll keep trying to find it in the world. And we'll keep trying to put our joy in a cistern, in a bucket that's got a hole in it. We'll keep trying to put our joy in there, and all of a sudden it just continues to leak out. And you know, if your job or your occupation or your relationship, if that's where you're putting your hope of finding peace and joy, then you're putting it in a broken cistern. You're putting it in something that's not going to last. We have to trust God that He is that living water. And second of all, we put our hope and our trust in Him, that He is the one that's going to bring satisfaction and hope and joy to our life. And when we do that, we begin to see our lives begin to change. We may not have the things that we thought we needed, but God will give us the things that we really need. You know, so many times in our life, there's a lot of people that went through life and they bought this and did this and married this and all kind of different things. And they just thought, man, if that's going to bring me joy. I think about Jacob. What he thought if he could get Rachel, oh, he was going to be happy. That didn't bring joy. Only God brings joy. And as we begin to see that, there's a lot of people looking for love in all the wrong places, the old song said. And as we begin to think about that, I think about last Sunday night, we talked about it in Mark's Gospel chapter 8. And it talked about those who seek to save their life will lose their life. But those who lose their life for God, for the kingdom of God, and for the kingdom's sake, then and only then will we save our life. And you know, as we begin to think about that, so many times in our life, we go through life, it's our plan, it's our way, it's what we think we want, and then all of a sudden, day after day, we keep coming to a roadblock. We keep coming to a place that we just can't get past. We plateau, and all of a sudden, we just never really get over that hump. And you know, at some point, we've got to ask that hard question. God, is this what you want for my life? Or God, is this what I want for my life? God, am I heading in the right direction? God, am I doing what you want me to do? Or God, am I living my own dream? Am I living my dream or am I living your dream? And when we begin to think about that, and when we begin to really get sincere with God and ask Him and be really upfront with God, y'all can come and give us a song of invitation. But I want you to think, when we ask God those questions, we serve a God that's big enough to give us the answers that we stand in need of. I don't know where you're at this morning, but I invite you to grab a hold of God's strength for your life today. If you're here and you've been struggling, you've been going through situations time and time again, and only to get to a certain place, to a plateau, you never get any further. If you're beginning to look at a situation and say, you know, this is what I want if I could just get to it. And I can get ever so close, but I never can quite get in reach of what I want. You ever thought that I might not be what God wants for you? You ever thought if you could really get a hold of what God wants, and if you really join with Him and just say, God, I don't want my expectations, I don't want my plans, but I want your plans to prosper in my life. And when we do that, oh God, what we can't reach, well, our arm is not long enough to reach, God will make up the difference. God will reach down and take our hand, and He'll lift us up, and He'll take us to the place that He wants us to be. A place of peace, a place of joy, a place of happiness. And as we begin to think about that, so many times situations in our life, and it can be salvation. There's a lot of people that put their hope and their trust in just being a good old boy. That's going to get me there. Just being better than so-and-so, that's going to get me there. Just coming to church and living a good life, that's going to get me there. No, I'm afraid not. Because one day you'll stand before God and you'll be just out of reach. You'll see, but you won't be able to walk in. And He'll say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. But if we've come and we give our life to Christ, and we've trusted Him, and we've embraced what Jesus Christ, the plan that God had from the foundation of the world, that He was going to send His Son to die on the cross for us, that we could have salvation full and free. If we've embraced that plan, and we'll stand before God, and He'll say, enter in, my good and faithful servant. And He'll extend that hand, and He'll pull us to Him. But I don't know where you're at this morning. And you know, God's okay when you ask Him the big question. God, is this my will? Or is this your will? Sometimes we just need to be honest with God. But I encourage you this morning, if there's something you need to leave behind, if there's something you've been running back to, if there's a situation that you're waiting on an apology, you're waiting on answers, You're waiting on something to move, something to change, because you feel like you're entitled to it. And you're going to do that before you continue to advance the kingdom of God. You're missing the blessings of God. You're missing them this morning. Don't miss the blessings of God. The devil will leverage that against you. He'll put you in a situation where he'll keep you running back to that hurt, running back to that pain, running back to that situation, hoping to find an answer. But the answer is in the person of Jesus Christ. He's going to be the one that's going to lift you out of that situation. But sometimes we got to bury some things, church. Sometimes we just got to say, hey, God, I'm done with this. God, I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to operate on my feelings. I'm not going to operate on my emotions, because they can't be trusted. But God, I'm going to operate in faith today, because it'll never let me down. If I put my faith and trust in Jesus Christ, it'll never let me down. Let us pray and just ask God to meet you at the point of your need today. And for some of you, it may be a worship service. For some of you, it may be a funeral today. If you need to bury something, I want to encourage you to come. Come to this altar and just bury it. And allow God to resurrect you, to walk in the newness of life, and find hope in His Word. Father God, we thank you that we might be able to look to you, trust you for those things that we stand in need of. And I pray, God, that you would meet each one of us at our point of need today. Honor us for your presence, that we might be able to ask the hard question. God, is it my plan? God, is it your plan? God, is it what I want? God, is it what you want? And God, as we ask those questions, I pray that you will give us conviction on our hearts. That God, when you convict our hearts, that you'll elicit a response in our life, that we'll step out, and we'll step up, and we'll meet you at a point of need in our life, and we'll say, God, I've been chasing a lot of different things. And I've been letting my emotions and my feelings run my life. But God, I'm surrendered and submitting it all to you today. Maybe there's one here that don't know you in the free part of forgiveness and sin. God, I pray that you would touch that heart. That you would find them where they're at. You'll help them to understand that there's only one way to come to you, and that's to surrender it all. God, they may have been chasing a lot of different ways to get to heaven, but there's only one way. The Bible is very clear on that. And God, for that 1, 2, or 10 that may be chasing other ways, God, convict their heart today and show them the right way. God, be real to them. Give them courage and boldness to step out and meet you in the very purpose of the plan that you have for their life. God, we love you today. We thank you and we praise you. We ask all of these favors and blessings in Christ's true and holy name we do pray. And all God's people said, amen.